All right, here's how you do the discussion of week 3, working with polynomials and the volume of a rectangular box. The way you find the volume of a rectangular box is what the formula says here. You're going to multiply the length times the width times the height. Now, you're not using numbers for each of these edges of the box. Instead, you're using polynomials. That's what we're learning in week 3. So here's what I do. I'm going to write the formula. So V equal L times W times height. And what I'm going to do is, like what we always do with formulas, is we plug in. So I know the volume. And the volume is this, x to the third power plus 6x squared plus 11x plus 6. So that's my volume. Okay. And then the volume is equal to the length. See, now I'm going to type how long is the length, but it's not a number. Instead, it's a polynomial. So here in this parenthesis that is for the length, I'm going to write x plus 2. Then I need to plug in the width. And who's my width? Again, I'm going to put an empty parenthesis because I'm plugging in. My width is x plus 3. And then I need to multiply also by the height. And the height, that's the problem. I don't know who is the polynomial. That's why I put the question mark. So I'm going to put a question mark here because I don't know. That's what this problem is all about. Who is the height? So when I multiply by the length and the width, I get this volume that is a polynomial. So how you work this out? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply polynomials. In this case, I'm going to multiply these two binomials. How? Using something called FOIL. Okay, check week 3 lecture notes and you're going to see what is FOIL. But basically what I'm doing is I'm multiplying every term in this parenthesis by every term of the second parenthesis. So x times x, I get x squared. And then I'm going to multiply the x by the 3. So that's how I get 3x. I'm done multiplying the x by every term in the second parenthesis. Now I'm going to multiply 2. 2 times the x, I get plus 2x. And then I'm going to multiply positive 2 times positive 3, I get positive 6. So what I have here in blue is the answer multiplying these two parentheses in red. However, I'm going to keep a parenthesis because this answer I had to multiply by something else, which I don't know yet. That's the goal. We want to find it. However, I noticed that in this first parenthesis in blue, I can simplify. The two terms in the middle can be combined. So I'm going to have x squared plus 5x plus 6. And that's the answer of the two parentheses that I multiply. However, like I said, this is the length times the width answer. But I need to multiply now by the height, which I don't know yet. And that's what we're going to find out. Okay. So I need to think who I multiply. See who I put in this red parenthesis. When I multiply by this blue parenthesis that I have 3 terms, I get the volume. Okay, all of this. So using what you learn in, again, you need to check week 3 lecture notes because there's some information there that you need to understand before you try this out, like exponent rules. Here I have x squared, but my volume has x cubed. So I'm short by an exponent. So if I multiply this x squared by x, this x by this x squared, I get x to the third. Now here's the thing, when you multiply x by x squared, you also need to multiply x by every term in this parenthesis. That's distributive property. So I'm going to start multiplying because you're gonna notice I'm gonna fall short. I'm not gonna get my answer. Look, when I multiply x by x squared, I get x to the third. When I multiply x by 5x, I get 5x squared. And when I multiply x times positive 6, I get plus 6x. And if you look at my answer here, this answer is not identical to what I have here. And why is that? Because I need to multiply by something else, all of this here, by some other term in this parentheses. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to figure out who I multiply this polynomial. So when I multiply it by that polynomial, I'm going to write it here on the side. And when I combine like terms, I get all of this. Okay, that's the whole point. That's the idea. Now, how do you do that? Well, I notice here I already have the x to the third, so that's fine. And here I have 5x squared, but I need a 6x squared. So I'm missing one more x squared. And I had to think who I multiply, who I write here in this empty space. So when I multiply by x squared and I add it to 5x squared, I get 6x squared. And again, using basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, I know there's going to be positive 1. Because if I multiply positive 1 times x squared, I get plus x squared. And when I combine those two, I get the 6x squared. So I got this term. But remember that this plus 1 is not only multiplying the x squared, it has to multiply all the other terms in this blue parenthesis. So positive 1 times positive 5x, that will be plus 5x. And positive 1 times positive 6, I get plus 6. And then I need to check if I can simplify this answer. I get this volume here. And I right away notice that 5x squared with plus x squared, I get the 6x squared. We already figured that out. I just need to find out if I have enough here to get the 11x. And yes, the 6x together with the plus 5x, that will give you my 11x. And then the plus 6 has nothing to combine, remains there. Look, I found the width. I'm sorry, the height. Who is the height? The height is going to be x plus 1. And this is the kind of process that I want you to try in week 3 discussion. Okay, it's really multiplying polynomials. And you're going to have to do some trial and error, guess and check, like I did here. That's the whole idea of week 3 discussion. I hope this helps.